We're all about facts, not fear, and providing that info to keep you and your loved ones safe. We have asked you, we'd like to interact with you, to send in claims you've seen about the coronavirus online, and then let our medical expert, Dr. Kohli, help determine whether that's real, fact, or fiction. Dr. Kohli joins us now in Emerald.
Hi, ladies.
Looking fabulous.
Hey.
I missed you. Happy Friday. I want to get started right away because our first claim says, is this me? Yes. Pooled testing is a great way to prevent outbreaks and do surveillance for the virus. Is this fact or fiction?
I like this one. This is fact. So pool testing means taking a number of samples and pooling them together and testing them together. So if you have 5 people that need to be tested, instead of testing them individually, you pool all their samples together, use one test kit, one set of reagents, run it all together, and if they all come back negative, you're done. Now, if they all come back positive, you have to test each sample individually. But you can see that pooling samples could be a cool way to reduce the cost, use less resources, and really increase the turnaround time. But there are a few important caveats. So when you're pooling the samples together, you want to be sure that you're testing in an area where the prevalence of the disease is low, so the samples are more likely to come out negative than positive, and you're not wasting time then doing 2 tests. The second thing is you want to be testing people who are asymptomatic. So you don't want to be using the strategy to test people with symptoms, but really more for surveillance in the community, people who are not having symptoms. And then the final is you don't want the pool to be too big, because you can imagine if you put 10 samples together instead of 5 and only 1 is positive, those 9 samples may dilute out the 1 positive sample so that it comes back negative and you end up getting false negatives. So I think this is a really great strategy to get people back to school, back to colleges, have sporting events, and get people back to work. And when Tegna allows me to come back in the studio, I want to be in the same pool as you and Erica. That's going to be my request.
I love it.
We are looking forward to that day.
Man, I am.
Like, you've been a part of us. I mean, it's crazy that at the beginning of coronavirus, like, we were just getting everything from you in the moment, like, including, like, go on Amazon and get your toilet paper or whatever it was. So we've come a long way. Yes, we've come a long way. Now, our next claim says, once you get the coronavirus and recover, you will have the antibodies forever. Is that fact or fiction?
This one is a fiction, and I actually have a friend who had the coronavirus. Thankfully, she's okay, but she thinks that she's now protected because she's got antibodies for life. So there's 2 things to think about here. One is, did you even make antibodies? And then the second is, if you made antibodies, how long they last. So studies show us that about 5 to 6% of people don't make antibodies in response to coronavirus, and that could be people who have a milder form of the illness. And other studies have come out this week in the New England Journal of Medicine and from China that shows that these antibodies that people do make can quickly go away. The New England Journal of Medicine study says after about 36 days, which is just about a month, the antibodies go down by 50%, so that by 6 months you can imagine that they might be gone. And the China study said they decline even faster. So this is an important message to get out there. You do not have an immunity passport if you've had the infection and recovered, because you may not have made the antibodies, and if you did, they may not last.
I have heard that question more times than ever being asked, so to ask you, so I'm really glad we got that taken care of. Also, I thought that pool testing meant chlorine when we first started asking you. Appreciate that. Thank you, doctor. We will be back next week. If you have a question about coronavirus you want answered by Dr. Kohli, just write us on social media. You can also email info@dailyblastlive.com. There's no panic, just prevention and precautions. I do a little Cuomo.